At 4 hours and 24 minutes into their mission, the crew of Gemini 7 was suspended in the total isolation of the orbital void. The capsule was passing high over the Caribbean, positioned directly above the area of Antigua. When the crew radioed in a sighting, a mechanical line breakdown between Mission Control and the news center prevented the transmission from reaching the public. Controllers later dubbed a master tape from the control center, preserving a pristine record of the exchange. This audio provides a real-time account of trained observers attempting to categorize an anomaly in the darkness of space. The incident began with a sudden report from astronaut Frank Borman, who identified a bogey situated at his 10 o'clock high position. Houston immediately attempted to rationalize the sighting, asking Borman if he was simply looking at their own spent rocket booster. Borman rejected the theory. He clarified that while there was debris in the area, the object at 10 o'clock was an actual sighting. As shown on this radar grid, the crew was beginning to map a crowded orbital field, with the first unknown contact holding steady at 10 o'clock. The exchange illustrates the discipline of these pilots, who actively distinguished between routine hardware and unexplained phenomena. Borman then shifted his attention away from the bogey, focusing instead on the spacecraft's left window. He described hundreds of small particles drifting approximately 3 to 4 miles away from their position. This second sighting consisted of hundreds of reflective particles moving silently against the black void. Borman reported that these particles were in a polar orbit, traveling on a 90-degree path that moved perpendicular to the Gemini's own trajectory. Houston's handwritten flight logs confirm this distinct separation, noting the swarm of particles passing to the left at a distance of several miles. Adding these perpendicular vectors to the map shows an increasingly complex orbital environment surrounding the capsule. The presence of this orthogonal debris field made it impossible for the sighting to be dismissed as the Gemini's own co-orbiting launch hardware. Astronaut Jim Lovell joined the transmission to decisively locate the actual rocket booster. Lovell reoriented the spatial search, looking toward the 2 o'clock position ahead of the spacecraft. He identified the booster as a brilliant body, catching the sun against the black background. The massive metallic stage was slowly tumbling end over end, its surfaces flashing in the sunlight. The transcripts record Lovell's precise data, placing the known booster at his 2 o'clock position. On this final map, all 3 elements are locked into place: the bogey at 10, the debris on the left, and the booster at 2. By visually confirming the booster at 2 o'clock, Lovell proved that the 10 o'clock bogey was an entirely separate entity. Following a dual transmission pause, the public affairs officer summarized the visual reports for the press. The PAO officially confirmed the presence of a third and unidentified object, identified in the record as a bogey. This was entered into the flight record at exactly 4 hours and 24 minutes into the mission. The 10 o'clock bogey remains a mystery because the astronauts were so precise in identifying every other known object in their vicinity.
Gemini Control here again. Earlier in the flight, you'll recall at the start of the second revolution, we had a reference to several objects that the crew spotted. This was in the area of Antigua. Due to a mechanical breakdown, we did not have that portion of the tape available for you. This was a line breakdown between Building 30 and our news center in Building 6. Since then, we have dubbed a tape off the master tape here in the control center, and we are now prepared to play it for you. It contains references to sighting not only some particles, but as well as an unidentified object, plus the Here's that tape. We'll play it for you now.
Gemini 7 here, Houston, out of your 8.
Loud and clear. 7, go ahead.
Bogey at 10 o'clock high.
This is Houston. Say again, 7.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock high.
Roger. Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
What?
Say again, 7?
Okay, we have several, looks like the 3 up here, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
But we also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Roger, understand they're about 3 to 4 miles away.
They're past now, they're going to polar orbit.
Roger, and understand they were about 3 to 4 miles away.
Trying to line. Or further.
Roger. Gemini 7, Houston, were these particles in addition to the booster and the bogey at 10 o'clock high? Roger.
7, this is, Houston, this is 7.
Go ahead.
I have the booster on my side as a brilliant body of the sun against a black background and with billions of particles around it.
Roger, what direction is it from you?
It's about at my 2 o'clock position.
Does that mean it's ahead of you?
It's affirmative. Ahead of us at 2 o'clock, slowly tumbling.
Roger.
OS 91. Fox 91. Fox 1. 91, say again.
Gemini Control here again. The reference in that conversation to the third unidentified object, of course, the third object was bogey. There were several references to the bogey. This is the unidentified object in addition to particles which appear to be headed in a polar orbit, you heard Frank Borman say, plus Jim Lovell discussing the booster. It was Borman who reported sighting the bogey. This is Gemini Control in Houston at 4 hours, 24 minutes into the flight.